Developmentally appropriate practice is a term coined by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. It describes teaching techniques that identify and foster the developmental needs of children, both individually and in groups. DAP is a set of guidelines suggesting curriculum content and practices serving children birth through age 8. Simply stated, these guidelines encourage early childhood programs to provide an educational environment that responds to the needs and interests of children. In that environment, trained teachers use observation to plan for the class and the individuals in it. In DAP classrooms, children's play and active engagement is the primary vehicle for learning. There are several trends in early education that suggest the need for developmentally appropriate practice. Pushing down of curriculum from the primary grades into kindergarten and preschool. Teachers feel pressure to engage in classroom practices they believe are not in the best interest of young children. Whole class instruction, teacher-centered instruction, formal reading instruction, written instruction out of workbooks, and frequent grading. Parental demands for more academics and a back-to-the-basics philosophy have also supported such practices. Physicians report a dramatic increase in the number of stress-related illnesses and conditions in young children. Children are being hurried into functioning in ways that do not match their natural modes of learning. There are many educational associations that support developmentally appropriate guidelines. Practitioners who use DAP make decisions about the well-being and education of young children on the basis of 3 sources of knowledge. Knowledge of how children develop and learn, knowledge about the strengths, needs, and interests of individual children, and knowledge about the social and cultural context in which children live. Using this knowledge as an early childhood educator, you should continually ask yourself these questions. Is this activity, interaction, or experience age appropriate? Is it individually appropriate? Is it socially and culturally appropriate? To address age appropriateness, we first think about what children are like within a general age range, requiring knowledge of typical child development. Next, we develop activities, routines, and expectations that accommodate and complement these characteristics. Individual appropriateness respects the individual pattern and timing for growth and considers how the uniqueness of each child, genetic traits, temperament, learning style, environment, and life experiences influence learning. In addition, individual children bring certain levels of previous knowledge and skill to each new experience they encounter. Children with little or no exposure to a particular situation should not be expected to perform at the same level of competence as children whose backlog of experience is greater. A teacher demonstrating social and cultural appropriateness recognizes multiple perspectives and understands how a child's personality is developed as a result of the experiences they have within the cultural group they belong to. Among the rules children learn are how to show respect, organize time and personal space, and interact with people they know well versus those they have just met. There are 10 fundamental practices that characterize the DAP philosophy: addressing the whole child, creating curricula to meet children's emotional, social, cognitive, and physical needs, individualizing the program to suit particular children, considering needs, level of functioning, and interest, recognizing the importance of child-initiated activity, viewing children as active decision makers in the learning process, recognizing the significance of play as a vehicle for learning. Play is valued and facilitated both indoors and outdoors. Creating flexible, stimulating classroom environments. Teachers can use direct and indirect instruction as appropriate. Using an integrated curriculum to support the content areas of literacy, math, science, and social studies across the context of daily activities. Learning by doing, concrete experiences with real materials. Giving children choices about what and how they learn. Teachers provide a wide range of activities and materials within which children may choose. Continually assessing individual children and the program as a whole, using formal and informal techniques. Standardized assessment is de-emphasized in favor of performance-based, authentic documentation. Forming partnerships with family. Parents and other significant family members are valued as partners and decision makers in the education process. In our curriculum planning, implementation, and interactions with young children, again, we should continually be asking ourselves, is this practice in keeping with what I know about child development and learning? Does this practice take into account children's individual strengths and needs? Does this practice demonstrate respect for children's social and cultural values? There is ample empirical evidence for developmentally appropriate practice. Researchers have demonstrated that young children in developmentally appropriate classrooms demonstrate enhanced creative thinking and problem-solving skills, display a better grasp of mathematical concepts, and are more adept at generalizing numeracy skills across situations. Score higher on mathematics achievement tests in second grade. Demonstrate better letter-word identification and better comprehension of literature. Demonstrate better listening skills and are more verbally adept. In contrast, more didactic methods have some short-term effects but do not sustain benefits by the end of second grade. Some argue that the acquisition of some discrete skills comes at a cost, less motivation to read and enjoy literature. There are social outcomes associated with developmentally appropriate practice as well. Children in DAP classrooms exhibit fewer negative social behaviors, better problem-solving skills, and more cooperation. They exhibit fewer stress-related behaviors, such as psychosomatic symptoms and behaviors that can be associated with developmentally inappropriate programs, sleep disturbance, stomach aches, prone to illness, irritability, and angry behavior. They have more positive self-esteem and demonstrate more favorable attitudes towards schools and teachers. These positive results are evident for boys and girls, children from high and low income families, children with European American, Native American, African American backgrounds. The detrimental effects of developmentally inappropriate programs, reduced achievement and heightened stress levels, are magnified for males, children of lower socioeconomic status, Native American, and African American children. I'm hoping that you will be able to share some of this information with others to convince them of the merit of developmentally appropriate practice, and yourself as you do more reading associated with DAP in the module for this week.